The earth sign mentality. Suppressed, grudging, relentless, vengeful. Taurus. April 20th to May 20th. Taurians are stubborn. You will need a crowbar to get these individuals to even budge. Taurians have a vengeful side and are capable of cold, calculated revenge. Don't mess with them. December 21st to January 19th. Capricorns get real quiet when pissed. We let it build up, then explode when we've had enough, and it's an ugly sight. When you're a tough person, like a Taurus, concealing emotions is the best thing. And this is something they do well. Don't be surprised if you see one burst out in tears or show a fit of rage. It's just the unleashing of built-up frustration. Many people fail to see through the conservative, tolerant, and quiet nature of the earth signs. These signs are slow to react in tense situations, and as a result, they accumulate immense frustration. What needs to be understood is that the earth sign's ability to persevere through projects and achieve goals consequently means that they tend to fixate on many other areas of life, particularly unresolved arguments and conflicts. Handling conflict. In almost all cases, the earth sign will be the one to find themselves under the most heat, pressure, criticism, and impertinence of the fire sign. In this circumstance, the earth sign needs to always be on top of their game, ready to act and speak quickly when tension arises. A very common problem that contributes to the failure of earth-fire relationships is suppressed anger on the side of the earth sign. In contrast, water, fire, or air-fire relationships can do better in conflict. Because of the emotionally expressive nature of the water signs, they can speak out against or soothe the passion of the fire sign, and the quick-witted, rational tendencies of the air signs. They often turn to humor and wit during an argument and are not prone to clinging to heavy emotions like anger. Furthermore, air signs have a natural ability to let go of stale situations and grudges. They are fleeting and will not obsess over something that is weighing them down or keeping them from moving on in life. Earth signs, on the other hand, can get burned very badly. The earth sign tendency is to become fully invested for the long run and fixated on any goal, person, or criticism. Earth signs are proud, determined, grasping, and self-righteous. To make matters worse, due to their grounded nature, they're often too slow to react when in conflict, which means that if they don't handle a problem right away, they will brood, obsess, and grudge until they have their vengeance. It is absolutely crucial to understand this, since the memory function between earth and fire signs are slightly different. Fire signs like Aries tend to live fast and forget the past. They heat up quickly. When there's a conflict, they handle it on the spot, and then they cool off right away and completely forget about it. They carry a kind of, oh well, what did we know back then mentality, which allows them to let go quickly. This habit also leaves them to easily forget about the rude attitude and words that they carelessly throw around. Thus, communication must be thoroughly maintained in an earth-fire relationship. Earth signs have a habit of restraining their behavior. They may not know how to react or what to say immediately in an argument. So with their powerful long-term memory, they mark down each and every injustice until one day, months or years down the road, when it's too late, they explode. This explosion is what we want to avoid. Complications occur when the earth sign finally decides to act on an injustice, at which point a fire sign such as Aries will be in. Confusion about the original problem. Handling conflict, speaking up and finding your voice. You are grounded. Your strength is your ability to hold your tongue when in confrontation. Others react with childish anger, a raised voice, and frantic speech. You say nothing. Your flaw, however, is that you miss opportunities to speak up and assert your personal opinion. You let others get away and make false assumptions about you. Go the extra mile. Instead of freezing and becoming silent, take a good moment to let your mind marinate on the subject or remark. Squeeze a bit more brain power juice into that fabulously organized intellect so you can come up with a reasonable response. With your grounded presence and diligence, there's never a need to raise your voice, get frustrated, or start an argument. If they walk away as you're speaking, no need to get frustrated. You can simply catch them at a later date. When there's something that you believe in, put your heart into carefully backing it up in conversation. If it's a bit of a mouthful, you will find a way of shortening it. Don't let others silence you. When you believe in what you say and you say it like you mean it, they will get the picture. You will find that it's better to say something, even if it's a little sloppy, than to not say anything at all. If your partner or ex is being persistently rude, you will have to act quickly and work hard at saying as much as you can to avoid accumulating frustration. The next time your partner or ex makes you upset, instead of trying to express your emotions, you will certainly find it easier to take the more chilled out Batman or James Bond approach. Simply talk to the person with your grounded tone and thoroughly explain how you feel and what is going on. If you're a blusher, just embrace it. If you're very angry, use emphasis words like enormous, terribly angry, severe, inconceivable, unimaginable, suppressed. The easiest way to respond to disrespectful remarks is to mimic what they say in a sarcastic and exaggerated tone. This will save you a lot of frustration. If you use your grounding ability well, you'll be able to come up with very rational arguments against their impertinence. Handling conflict, communicating feelings, go-to phrases. You're pushing me to a breaking point. You speak to me like I'm the most annoying person in the world. Did you really just say that? Out of your mind. Your tone of voice is very penetrating. I'm very stressed out and overwhelmed. Hey, what are you saying to me? I'm losing my mind here. I keep having to suppress my anger because I don't know how to respond to you. You're driving me crazy. I can't keep up with you. I just want you to acknowledge the fact that I was not okay after how you spoke to me. I suppressed an enormous amount of anger just in the past month from your condescending remarks. I'm accumulating a lot of frustration from everything you say to me. What are you saying? It feels like you're trying to hurt me with your tone of voice alone. Hey, you gave me a horrible tone of voice multiple times just this month. Handling conflict, communicating feelings. When it comes to dealing with a bad attitude, nothing is more challenging than a teenage Aries who gets annoyed at every utterance you make. It's especially difficult to respond to them when they give you a hurtful, penetrating tone of voice, but don't say anything rude in particular. In this case, there are a few options to choose from. Now, you can deliberately ignore them, which may eventually lead them to realize that their behavior is not affecting you. Or you can counter them with comebacks if they persist beyond your silence. If they're regularly attacking, criticizing, mocking, and disrespecting, you may be in an abusive relationship, at which point you should leave. If you two have broken up but are stuck having to complete high school together, you'll need to give your ex weeks or even months of space in the case of a female Aries before they're ready to be nice again. It's best to keep to yourself as much as you can and not say anything too silly to trigger Aries' annoyance. If you plan on being on good terms, you'll have to wait for them to warm up to you again. Comebacks. Wow, listen to that attitude. That is a beautiful attitude. What a lovely attitude you have there. Parroting. Mimic the ridiculous thing they said in a sarcastic manner, e.g., "Thanks for pointing out the obvious, Dave," follows with, "Yeah, thanks for pointing out the obvious." A rude tone of voice. That's interesting. Tell me more. Why would you say, "do ask that"? Criticism and gossip. Earth signs are heavily invested in their partners and fixated on details. They are generally perfectionists and very proud. For this reason, they don't take criticism well. However, and Virgo can benefit by adopting a more Taurian outlook on life. The Taurians are much more certain in their own opinion and are able to assert themselves when others are being unreasonable. Remember the big picture, Virgo. You have enough things to be proud of, so why make a fuss over insubstantial criticism? Criticism and gossip. Humor and sarcasm is the ultimate way to diffuse tension. Sending too much love in return can simply annoy Aries. Being very tolerant and passive can become fatiguing, and getting extremely frustrated and angry just escalates any conflict, since earth signs are not great communicators. An occasional sarcastic meme can help from time to time. Handling conflict when they're really bad. Considering that we're dealing with fire signs here, these people are all about dominance. You have to remember, Capricorn, that when it comes to a sign like Aries, you probably won't gain their respect by being a thoughtful gentleman all the time. You have to realize that when someone is being unfair and rude, this is the rare occasion when it's okay to release your anger. Aries will surely forget about it anyway. My ex-Aries forgot about everything all within a year. Just keep throwing back something that is straightforward and to the point. A horrible attitude deserves this kind of retaliation. If you missed a rude remark even a week or so ago, I still recommend coming back and laying it down for them. If the relationship is getting heated or it has already run its course and you two have split up, be prepared for a wave of gossip and criticism related to you. Teenage fire signs have a tendency to spot problems and let their mouths go off about insignificant flaws that in reality only temporarily annoy them. Bottom line, don't let it get to your head. As an earth sign, you're likely to be a perfectionist, so you can be prone to becoming obsessed with the details behind other people's criticism. Stand your ground and show the world that you couldn't care less about what others think of you, and the world will lose its power over you, realizing just how strong you are. Make sure to use humor when you find yourself becoming bothered by Aries' critical remarks. At the end of the day, real people aren't perfect, and you have enough things to be proud of in spite of your flaws. Handling conflict. Proof of abuse. Tension will certainly arise frequently in a teenage earth-fire relationship, and it's especially severe after you two have broken up but are stuck to finish high school together. If the criticism, gossip, rude remarks, and attitude become ridiculous and your friends are not always nearby or paying attention to back you up, make sure to discreetly record the interactions between you and your ex. The reason why this is important is because Aries will not always remember what they did or said. First, collect a large handful of recordings to prove their ridiculousness. Once you think you've recorded enough, put all the audio clips in a free audio editing software such as Reaper or Audacity, and then edit in all the key segments. After the track has been cleaned up, bounce the clips into a single track to play to everyone later on. Handling conflict. Earth signs should keep in mind that oftentimes when they're infuriated about something, it's because of many minor events that have accumulated over time. Their tolerance slowly diminishes and they build up frustration from all the inconveniences in the past that they were too slow to handle. It could be that in reality, Aries wasn't too bad after all, and that the real cause behind the bitter resentment was severely suppressed anger on the side of the Earth sign. This is when a thorough letting go closure talk or letter becomes necessary in order to take the built-up pressure off and create an understanding. Capricorn and Virgo are known to be responsible signs, so they don't like to leave situations or arguments hanging and messy. Since Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, they have an innate obsession with the completion of cycles. What this means is that an unresolved argument is taken as a cycle. Earth signs just don't let go until the job is done. They are relentless. Now this is where a final letting go letter to your ex becomes helpful. Keep it thorough, precise, and short. You can use this template below. You're very fast. You were too fast for me. You said too much all at once, and I was overwhelmed. You kept pushing me with your attitude and rude remarks like, "Thanks for pointing out the obvious, Dave." I'm still processing the whole experience. It seemed like you turned into a different person for a few months. I don't know what to say to you sometimes. I've been suppressing enormous amounts of anger. I'm not sure if you always hear or realize the things you say. Your tone of voice is very penetrating. Sometimes it almost seemed like you wanted to hurt me with your tone of voice alone. Well, we took care of a few past problems this year, but the last few things, you said at Ryan's place really bothered me, I said. And you threw it right back at my face. You blow up every time I open my mouth. I just want you to acknowledge the fact that in spite of my non-reaction, I'm severely upset and frustrated inside. I wasn't able to just shrug off everything. It is not time that heals me. It is understanding. Looking like a winner. At the end of a relationship, many youth have the tendency to look at their life in relation to their exes and view themselves in a competitive and jealous game. This is a very unnecessary and unhealthy habit as an earth sign. If you feel the need to overcompensate after a breakup, the most you need to do is upload a photo of yourself on Facebook, smiling, having a good time with friends to show the world that you're doing just fine. Skip the efforts to outsex your ex or gain social status and so forth. Those are all rooted in jealousy and insecurity. How sad would it be to keep having to compete with someone who's practically a non-existent ghost in your life now? Show the world you are strong by not giving a damn about what others do or accomplish in their lives. You are secure. You live your own life. When we look at famous rappers and celebrities, we see that they don't have time for silly nonsense. The golden rule to being a winner is moving on. This also means that you have to stop viewing yourself as a mistreated victim. For about 6 years, I was upset over the fact that she sincerely explained that I was a simple person and that she needed someone who could understand her problems. And I just took it way too seriously. I really didn't know how to handle criticism back then. Being an earth sign, it of course took me a stupidly long time to realize that the standards I had for myself were just unnecessarily high, especially for that age. First, looked at other people and thought to myself, no, I'm not like those other normal people. I'm better than them. I am not who I used to be. I can do this now, and I know about this stuff now, and I can also do this. And I now understand that this is a very Virgo thing. They get really upset over insignificant details and overlook the big picture. That is, they have enough things to be proud of. I finally, almost in my mid-20s, it just clicked in me. You know, what did we know back then We were kids back then. Like, why was I making such a fuss? It was so dumb to have sent these little letters or packages of artworks and documents to my ex years down the road trying to prove that I had changed. It was a very beta male thing for me to do, and it was creepy, and it may have also been annoying. People I knew were probably looking at me and thinking to themselves, like, dude, calm down. Of course you've changed. It's been like 7 years now. No one's a loser here. Everyone's going to school, working part-time, learning things and making something out of their lives at their own pace. Your ex from 6 years ago doesn't have to know that you've transformed into this uptight, know-it-all, artsy highbrow. It's like, leave us alone, man. We're all trying to grow up and live our own lives here. And for some reason, you have to prove to everyone that you are also doing the same. Sheesh. Getting over it. In summary, don't suppress anger when in conflict. With fire signs, it's better to express yourself as much as possible, even if what you say is a bit selfish or short-sighted. Suppressed anger leads to earth sign grudges and physical ailments. Don't give in to criticism just because Aries says you're a simple person or awkward or this or that. Doesn't mean you don't already have plenty of things to be proud of. Show them that you couldn't care less. If they were rude to you and you simply took their crap, you don't have to view yourself as a poor victim who lost some kind of game related to dominance. Your ex being moody and rude to you is their problem, not yours. You don't have to be a victim if you don't want to be. Avoid my mistake. I became obsessed and fixated on her criticism and so forth, and then made things messier by retaliating years down the road. I sent her weird letters and artworks trying to prove something, but the maneuver backfired. I must have ended up coming off as a needy, beta male, pathetic, frustrated, and annoying loner. This is the worst thing you can do. Moving on and letting go for earth signs. Soothing the righteous idealist. You spot many details in life. You feel that your pride is hurt because of someone's criticism, but you fail to realize that you have enough things to be proud of, and even they know it. Real people aren't perfect. Have a break from thinking about yourself for once. I always trying to make myself up to be this very particular kind of person back then, but that got all messed up. I wish I did things differently. People change. Yes, it's messy. Embrace it. You know, what did we know back then? They didn't know any better. Neither did you, as much as you brood and grudge and feel victimized. Handling conflict, finding your voice and vocal limit, screaming versus shouting. We want to shout when we're angry, but we're insecure about the possibility that our voice may sound messy or immature, high-pitched, shrieky, so and so on. Many of us don't want to embarrass and lose ourselves in arguments. In my personal opinion, I think many of us earth signs would enjoy expressing more emotion by letting out our words in a louder and sharper manner. Thus, I want to provide a distinction between screaming at the top of one's lungs, what we probably don't want, and shouting or speaking very loudly and sharply, what would let us feel more expressed. If you're uncertain of your own voice and haven't found it yet, play around with it by yourself when you get some free time to find your expressive loud voice or your shouting voice. The key is to keep your pitch down somewhat low in its normal speaking range, the regular pitch range that you have when you're totally relaxed and talking with others. When you respond to others with that's about where your pitch should be. Now, to turn that into loud and penetrating speech or a loud shout, you simply have to put more force into it. You'll probably notice that you have to flex your abdominals more to pressurize your voice. It can take some practice to get used to this because when we're feeling tense in social situations, we often have a habit of becoming frantic and speaking faster and higher up in pitch. This is generally not good because it escalates more tension. Handling conflict, fight back without fighting back and forth. How I wish I knew that asserting one's own opinion and protecting one's own beliefs would not escalate any arguments if performed with the right grounding. Would have saved myself tremendous frustration had I known how to fight back without fighting back and forth. I was young and I lacked assertiveness around her. I always avoided laying down my own opinion in the fear that a great shouting match would surge. Unfortunately, my suppressed anger got the better of me. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Be assertive, be direct, and express yourself. Just tell it how it is from your perspective, regardless of whether or not they will get it or believe you right away. Keep it very short and to the point. This is the key to fighting back without fighting back and forth. Under 3 sentences is best, e.g., "Hey, you gave me a horrible attitude at Ryan's place last week. I'm losing my mind here. I can't keep up with you." Then just leave it at that. If you are very suppressed and frustrated by previously missed remarks and opportunities to get the other person to acknowledge your feelings, I encourage you to stand up for yourself if something happened recently. Again, keep it direct and short, and don't argue. You may find it easier to use complete words like did not, could not, should not, cannot, as opposed to didn't, couldn't, shouldn't, can't, just so your speech is more clear. Live fast and forget the past. If you retaliated or communicated in some way, you did what you could. What's done has been done. There's no use brooding or grudging over the past since what happened cannot be changed. Chances are you will respond to this person most of the time, but not every time. That's good enough.